Hey folks, it's John Kingsley here, the World Ninja. I just wanted to touch base with everybody out there and talk to you about some things. I've been posting some of the price lists for the different classes that we're offering. I'll continue to put those up during this week, and if you've got any questions about those, feel free to ask. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. Some of the reasons that we price things the way that we do, and the reason the classes are listed the way that they are, the reason we don't just say, for example, that we teach ninjutsu as opposed to listing the topics that we want to train you in. So the reason that we do that is, over the years I've seen martial arts schools basically a lot of the reason that they have you sign a contract or pay a monthly fee is that they themselves have duties to pay rent or a lease on the place that they own or that they're working to own, and so they need to keep the student body coming back much in the same way that a doctor's office today needs to keep the patient coming back, that it's not really in their best interest to completely heal you to where you don't continue to come back to them. And that's that's not to say that all doctors do that. There are some doctors that want to heal you and want to fix you, and so that is kind of what we wanted to look at as a model, is that as martial arts instructors, we should want to be able to release somebody out into the world that feels better about being able to protect themselves in the ways that they needed to. If they're worried about how they feel when they get off work at night and walk to their car through a dark parking deck, lot, that type of thing, then we want to make sure that they feel good about doing exactly that thing, so that fear in their life is taken away, so to speak. And there's a way that we can streamline what up till now has been done as years and years and years of training by allowing the student themselves to say, well, this is what my life looks like, and I would really appreciate it if for defending myself in my home, if you could take a look at my home, and instead of training me in a dojo that has mats on the floor, heavy bags hanging for me to practice on, practice weapons everywhere, no obstacles really in my way while I'm trying to do these things. It would be more beneficial to me, and I would feel more secure in defending myself if I could do that, first and foremost in the place that I actually live. Or if I'm worried about, leaving work, going to, from my workplace to my car, that I would be able to train in that environment itself and feel that much more secure. And this goes way back. It's not like this is new thinking really, in the way that this has always been kind of what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to know your battlefield. That is part of securing the odds in your favor. Knowing your opponent is part of that also. And that's one that people still think about a lot, is trying to figure out what the opponent's going to do. But knowing your environment and the place that you live, the place that you work, the place that you spend probably about, the places you spend about 85% of your day. It's important to know how to defend yourself there. And so if you're worried about what to do if you get attacked in your car, then you shouldn't have to sign up for martial arts lessons and go through 6 years worth of training just to learn how to defend yourself in your car. You should learn probably at most about 30 different techniques, and then once you're done learning those 30 techniques, or done seeing them at least and practicing them, getting your hands on them, then you should be able to take those 30 techniques and whittle them back to maybe 5 or 6 for a couple of important situations that you're really fearful of in that situation. And once you've got it whittled back to those 5 or 6, that's much more manageable than 30 things rolling around in your head that you're trying to figure out what to do. So instead of adding constantly to the student's knowledge of martial arts in general and kind of what we would call cluttering up their brain, we want to teach the student to streamline what techniques they're going to keep inside their brain. It's not as important how many you see and witness, as it is that the student learns which techniques feel good to them and which techniques are going to work for them in the environments that they find themselves the most. So another thing that we kind of change about our training is that we don't really require people to wear uniforms. You'll see training videos, sometimes they're in gis, traditional style Japanese uniforms. Sometimes they're just in workout shorts and a t-shirt or blue jeans, cargo pants, whatever. The idea there being, when they wore the traditional uniforms back then in Japan, well, that was normal, for them to walk around in clothing that was very similar to that. So in today's day and age, when you're training, the old style traditional uniforms, they're very comfortable to wear. But a lot of times that's not exactly what you wear in public. It's not what you wear when you go to work. So when you get off of work, you got these, maybe you have an office job, so you wear dress shoes. Those are difficult to fight in. They're difficult to kick in for sure. So maybe the thing that you learn first and foremost is to keep your feet on the ground. Maybe you thought martial arts was going to allow you to kick people really fast and a lot. Well, that might not be the best. If you have dress shoes on, you might want to find ways to keep your feet firmly planted and do a lot of your work elsewhere. So, dress slacks, they're not that bad. They're usually pretty loose to fight in. Sometimes the waist can be a little restricting, but outside of that, they're loose and feel a lot like gi pants, traditional uniforms. So. Working out in your dress clothes, if you work that, you work in dress clothes, work out in blue jeans. If you, work at your normal job in blue jeans and a t-shirt, then do so. Whatever you find yourself wearing the most, that's kind of what you should be prepared to defend yourself in. This can be more difficult for women. You ladies should really think about stuff like that. That the pants are easier to defend yourself in than a skirt will be, for the most part. So, taking those things into consideration, we want the students to, think about that and not be restricted to have to buy a uniform and you're wearing the same thing every time that you train. So if you're not wearing that and you get attacked, it feels a little weird, something's a little off. We don't want anything like that hindering you from being able to survive an actual confrontation. And so wearing what you're used to wearing and being able to move around and defend yourself in it, that's very important. So we kind of let students do what they wish. If they want to be completely comfortable, wear a traditional uniform. They're pretty comfortable. As long as it's not boiling hot and we're outside, those are pretty comfortable to wear. But, they're probably not as comfortable as your favorite pair of blue jeans and your favorite t-shirt, So being able to train in stuff that is more comfortable to you as a person, that'll do you better in the long run, and so we want to encourage people to train that way. And the other thing, just taking into account that students over the years, our lives have changed. Everything from tenure at your job. There's not really a lot of people that work like 20 years for the same company anymore, things like that. Our society's changed slightly from how it used to be. When you work 20 years for the same job, for example, your schedule might tend to be pretty regular. And so working things in like a regular martial arts class becomes easier in those circumstances than it is in today's time. So we open up our scheduling to where basically when you pay for a class, the prices that are listed for the class, that's for the class at a flat rate. That's not per month or anything like that. Usually the classes take anywhere from 5 at the beginner levels to 15 to 20 at the advanced and instructor levels to accomplish teaching whatever that subject is. So the idea there is that, let's say that you're taking a class on closing the gap at the beginner's level. That's just how to close distance on an opponent without getting destroyed in the process. So that class, I believe, is a $60 class at the beginner's level. So let's say that you got 3 pals, or it's you and 2 buddies. Okay, so we were dealing with 3. 3 guys decide they want to take this class. It's $60 for the class. That means per person it's $20. So the class fees are a flat rate You just pay the one-time fee. You will test out of that beginner's curriculum and move on into the intermediate if you wish to do that. If you feel good about where you are and you feel safe, you can stop there. You don't have to continue. I'm not going to force you. That's your choice. You might want to pick another topic because you're like, okay, I think I got that. I need to move on to something that maybe is a little bit more of a weakness for me and try to get rid of that weakness. So understand that the pricing is a flat rate. You can divide that amongst yourself and friends, or if you want some solitary training, you can just pay the rate of $60 and get one-on-one training. That's fine too. Classes max out at 8. I want to be able to make sure I get to everybody and answer questions that they might have. So that's why I'm maxing the classes out at 8, and it's that way you can divide classes, the price of those classes, up to 8 different ways to make it really cheap on yourself. And so for students today, you can organize a group of people, say that you're able to meet regularly on Monday nights. Then you contact me, say I want to meet on Monday nights at 6 o'clock and train on how to close distance on an opponent. I've got 2 pals that want to train with me. So can we start that class up next month, and we'll get that on the schedule for you. We'll put that up on our calendar and get it worked in there for you and your 2 friends to have that class, test out of that class, get your certification to be able to move on in that subject, or you guys can continue and pick another topic. Maybe you pair up with some other people for something else that they're interested in. So hope that answered a lot of the questions that you guys might have about what we're doing here, and continue to watch for more price lists as we release more classes out there to the public. That'll be happening this week. So stay tuned, and thanks for tuning in again, and we'll see you next time.